The Native American called her actually the wolf spirit god, and Egyptians called her Isis, which is the goddess of magic and healing and resurrection. The Greek actually called her the Orion dog. You know who I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about Sirius, the dog star. Actually, it's a fixed star in 14 degrees Cancer. And we have the most beautiful day, August 12th, when Venus, Jupiter, and Sirius going to conjunct in heaven. Welcome to my channel, Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Christina. Today I will talk about actually Sirius, and I'm going to talk about this beautiful conjunction. Sirius actually, it is magic. It is also, first of all, that is the Canis Major in fixed star constellation. And it is a white blue star. However, Cicero and Ptolemy said it's a reddish fixed star, but they were wrong about that. And the constellation has an A and a B star in it. And Sirius is the dog star. It is the guardian of the heaven, right? It is a binary star system. And so when actually Sirius started to rise, the Egyptians always, it was usually in late July. Right now it's going to happen August 12, and the Egyptians marked the flooding of Nile. And the flooding of Nile brought fertility to the soil. So Sirius brings abundance and symbolize abundance and fertility. So this is very, very positive. And as I said, Ptolemy said it is a Jupiter and Martian in nature. Someone else said it's totally Venusian in nature. But then Alvarez said it is Jupiter, Mars, and Moon in nature. So, we can actually have a discussion about that. What do you think? But definitely Sirius for me, it's the most amazing fixed star. We call it also the second sun because it's so bright and bigger than the sun itself, and it definitely brings growth and abundance. And also the Greek, if we're going through the mythology, the Greek actually, which I said that was the Orion dog star, the hunting myth. It's belonging from Sirius as well. And the Polynesians, the Hawaiians, called Sirius actually Kauluav, or they called her also A'a. That was the navigation system, and it started actually the agriculture activities for Polynesian people as well. So it is a spiritual sun, it is divine knowledge, it is also secret intuition and also enlightenment as well. If we are checking the archetype of Sirius, guys, that is the celestial guardian, the protector. It's protect and guide us. And also, this is the sacred midwife because it is in Cancer, right? And actually, it is bringing life cycles into our life, death and rebirth and birth itself. And also, it is the eternal flame and the teacher as well, keeper of hidden knowledge and the wisdom in leadership. So Sirius also the royal advisors as well, and the sacred flood, because as I mentioned before, the Nile was flooding during that time, which was long waited right after a long drought, and it brought fertility to actually to the soil. And also it is devotion and loyal companion, unconditional loyalty. Sirius is actually unconditional loyalty. I do have actually an amazing water grand trine in Scorpio, Pisces, and what is that? In Cancer, and I have Saturn in the degree, and in Cancer, it is in detriment, but anyway, it's going to activate my water grand trine in the eighth house. So we will see what's going to happen. But actually, I going to play the lottery. And by the way, I wanted to tell you guys, Sirius going to rise actually around right before sunrise. For me, it's going to be around, because I live in Miami, and it's going to be around 5:30 a.m. So I'm gonna be up from 3 a.m. because of Jupiter gonna rise first, that's 3 a.m. and 5 to 10 minutes later Venus going to rise, and then Sirius. And I want to see the alignment, I want to see the conjunction. I have an amazing tool my hubby bought me like 3 years ago when Saturn and Jupiter conjuncted. That's, right before Christmas, I wanted to have that, and he bought it for me. And it is an amazing, like a telescope, and I can see everything with it. And then I just wanted to tell you guys, this is the time when you can wish for something. It can bring in instant family. It can bring in love. It can bring in, for example, if you would like to buy a house and pray or chant or whatever is your religion or belief system, just do something, do an altar for Venus, Jupiter, and Sirius, and it will bring positive change in your life. However, we're going to talk about mundane, and we're going to talk about personal astrology as well, but I just wanted to mention that before. So, yes, it is actually fame, visibility, divine protection, leadership, that is actually the keywords for Sirius, and also telepathy and secret mission as well. So on the other hand, it could be also if you misuse this kind of conjunction, because Jupiter also could be arrogance and growth. It could be something to do with misuse of divine favor. For example, you're going to become arrogant, and it could be also overheating. It could be literal overheating as well. So careful out in the beach if you are having vacation during this time. And it could be also some kind of power struggle, or it could bring in some kind of burnout and dangerous passion as well from lust and obsession or revenge. You can become really revengeful because you're obsessive to protect your family, for example, or your land, because obviously Cancer rules the land as well. And that actually conjunction going to magnify anything to do with qualities like brilliance and fame potential as well. And also going to highlight our spiritual calling as well. And because of Cancer rules the fourth house, and it's anything to do with land protection, nurturing, and ancestral memory, and also emotional legacy and safety as well, home safety. So it's going to magnify and amplify that area as well. So on the other hand, we knew about that. So if you actually if we're talking about the archetype of Sirius and Cancer wife together, it could be something to do with your personal home. You might want to actually buy something, or you are urging to move somewhere nearby water. It could be a body of water. It could be lake, river, stream, or ocean, right? And it is also, you want to lead right now, but you will lead through empathy. And you will also have some kind of deep connection or urge to find out who could be your biological parents, or something to do with your cultural heritage or ancestry. It is also some kind of collective memory as well. And it could be fertility blessing for so many right now. Because if we are checking it, August Webb, what is Venus? Venus is love, art, money, and value, and Jupiter is expansion, belief, luck, and anything to do with our higher calling, higher learning, and also justice in our life as well. And Sirius itself, it's spiritual prestige as well, and ancestral abundance as well. So together, it's going to create a financial blessing, something to do with ancestral ties. So it could be inheritance or real estate, like so many, or something like the family business could actually bloom, And it could be also something to do with cultural, success as well, which is carrying a legacy. So, for example, art, music from your country, or some kind of writing heritage, something to do with a book, like they're going to find a thousands years old book and it's connected to your country, for example. It is also global diplomacy, but through feminine channels. So it's not through men, it's women leaders, guys, it's peace agreements and healing, also anything to do with the divine feminine wound as well. And anything to do with motherhood, with generosity, caregivers, right? So it is the one who are nurturing the family, who keep the fire in the family. And it could be also something to do with royal events, and it could be some major royal events in globally. So, for example, maybe, but I'm going to go to mundane soon, but it could be also something to do with like Charles is going to just withdraw his health condition. I keep saying that, but it's coming soon. And then Kat and Charles son going to, oh, William going to take over. And actually, William is cancer. So that's definitely could be something about William, and also something about Elon Musk, because Elon Musk also has actually, guys, cancer stellium. So those people are going to be blessed. So even if Tesla went down before, went really up right before the election, right, because he was supporting Trump. After that, when they started to fight boxing, whatever, then it went down, and it's going to come back. Why? Because cancer is housing and Tesla is doing small Tesla houses. So Tesla stock going to rise like crazy. And anyway, Tesla stock also has a cancer stellium, right? But anyway, we're going to talk about that later on as well. And I'm doing another video either today or tomorrow, because I want to talk about the two kite figuration between actually August 5th and August 16th. And it's going to affect us, two beautiful kite in heaven. And we're going to talk a lot about finances over there as well. So yeah, so in general, when, for example, when you are analyzing, and when I'm getting ready to my videos, I'm always checking the archetypes. I'm always going to align with historical parallel. Obviously, I'm doing my researches there, and then it could actually create some kind of bubble or some kind of some kind of house system, but only in royalty housing. So not necessarily. It's going to be like more affordable housing. But so what you have to actually check in this case, we can check what does Venus rules, what does the second and seventh house rules, right? Because that's what Venus rules. Venus rules the earthy fixed sign Taurus, and it rules the air sign Libra, right? Which is cardinal. So we have to check those two houses. And then we also have to check what Jupiter rules. Jupiter also rules two signs. It rules daytime, it rules Sagittarius, right, in the ninth house, and nighttime it rules Pisces in the 12th house. So we have to check those. And then we are obviously bringing those together with Sirius, and that's how we do the prediction. So, for example, if we're talking about Taurus and Venus and the second house over there, and what does it mean? What does Taurus rules? What the second house rules? For example, in mundane perspective, it is national treasury. It anything to do with stockpiles and currencies and agriculture values as well, and mining wealth, inflation, taxation policy, also consumer economy as well, and trade goods and supply chain, right? And food pricing. And in personal level, obviously, Taurus and Venus over there is self-worth, everything to do with values, for example, self-esteem, security, personal security, and materialism as well, resource management as well, and, ownership, personal boundaries, and also it rules hoarding, guys. It really your comfort zone hoarding as well. And actually, the bad outcome of this could be Venus, Jupiter, and Venus conjunction on Sirius. It could be like a lot of people going to start to hoard because they are scared of Third World War. So they're going to accumulate things up in the house. But also it rules actually the throat, the neck, the thyroid, the vocal cords. It also rules the jaw over here, your tongue, your jaw tension, right? If you have any kind of TGM, some kind of muscular issue over here. It could be also the blood sugar level as well, obviously, and eating disorders, because second house is actually your eating habit, the food what you consume, and also could be metabolic function as well. But in financial, it is your salary, what you actually earn yourself. It could be also, it's tangible assets, right? It's also could be something which is with financial stability, anything to do with your bank saving as well, your resources. And then you also have to check actually here the seventh house, because it's also rules the seventh house, right? And seventh house is Libra, for example. So, for example, Venus in second house, it rules Bitcoin and favors Bitcoin. And Venus in seventh house, it rules Ethereum and actually favors Ethereum. So in the seventh house, Venus over here, which is like contracts and your mirroring and partnership and significant other legal matter, your followers, anything to do with diplomacy, anything to do with mediation, marriage laws, for example, court cases, and legal battles as well, and trade agreements, business alliances as well, and public lawsuit as well. And in personal, it is obviously a relationship house, guys, anything to do with codependency and mirroring, fairness and trust in each other, and also, negotiation and compromise between a couple and conflict resolution as well. It could be people pleasing as well. So Venus, Jupiter, and Sirius could be actually the negative side of that could be people pleasing and too much compromise. But actually Libra, he rules the kidney, for example, right? And the lower back as well. And your bladder, because that's your urine in bladder as well. And it could be any kind of imbalance disorder in the system, because Libra is the scale, and if it is off, it could be some kind of imbalance over there, or hormone related issues as well. In finances, it is something to do with prenups, for example, and anything to do with marriage assets and collaborative ventures as well, right? Lawsuit and settlements, for example. And then if you check Jupiter in the ninth house, it's what is that? It is ruled the day. Yes, it rules the day. And the ninth house, anything to do with belief system. It's very lucky. It's expansion. It's Sagittarian. It's anything to do with exploration and laws as well, and foreign matters. So, for example, visa, immigration, your philosophy, your religion conflict, your beliefs, your cultural diffusion as well, and international laws, international foreign policies, for example, and religion and courts. And also, it is your faith, your belief, your higher learning, that is actually high education, and everything to do with your idealism and your, like adventure as well, and morality. So this is actually Jupiter over here is visionary thinking. And if we are talking about the head, we have to talk about the hips. We have to talk about the liver, and the tides as well. Anything to do with fat metabolism, anything to do with travel illnesses. And also it could be moral fatigue, and it could be also sciatica somehow. And in finances, if you are publishing, and if you are in tourism or export-import business, or some kind of ethical investing, law firm and global trade, or university funding, it covers financially that one as well. And then in the 12th house, because 12th house ruled by the Pisces, and 12th house is actually mysticism, it is isolation, it is anything to do with ending and surrounding, right? And it is something to do with mental health institution, anything to do with secret societies, anything to do with your hidden enemies, with hidden surveillance cameras as well. So we will need to be careful. If you are renting an Airbnb and going to a hotel, we're going to hear a lot about, there is a finding in hotels. They were actually had surveillance, and they were somebody who were there before you and rented the room out, and, actually found cameras, and they were checking people and life or sex life or whatever in hotels. So yeah, definitely it's going to go that far. And it is anything to do with laboratorium, underground labs, like secret labs as well. And it is addiction center. That is your karmic womb. It is the eternal womb. It is your afterlife. It is dreams, escapism, mysticism, alcoholism, addiction, drug addiction, illusion. It is actually also your spiritual gift, but it could be also some kind of self-sabotaging behavior, like delirium tremens, coming, withdrawing from something. That is your inner crisis, and that is transcendence as well. And in health, it is your, Pisces rules your feet, for example, and your lymphatic system as well. Immune disorder as well. Pisces is inflation as well, mental illness, depression, anything to do with sleep disorders and substance abuse as well. Autoimmune disease and hospitalization, because Pisces rules hospitals, jails, orphanage, veterans, homelessness, and also hotels, boutique hotels, and also rules the art, anything to do with script writing, photography, filmography, and also movies itself, not series, but movies, and it could be documentaries as well. So yes, something to do with charitables, right? Something to do with offshore account or hidden wealth. And right now you will see there is a lot of rich who going to save their money actually offshore account. They're gonna go to uh, Cayman Island or Puerto Rico, the zero tax, whatever. If you have an address in Puerto Rico, you don't need to pay tax in the US. So they're going to, go over there and have their account over there. So before and then, like, you also have to know what does, for example, Venus rules. It's pretty much, we were talking about that art, love, and anything to do with currency, and anything to do with aesthetic, anything to do with fashion, design, like charm and magnetism and seduction. Venus is really, Venus is actually the true yin and yang. I kept telling you guys and teaching you about it because of the evening and the morning star. That is the little, like blue and red, black and white, whatever on your shoulder. So this is a huge difference. That's the typical yin and yang. Actually, Venus is the indication of the yin and yang, and it is marriage and attraction, obviously. And we were talking about that Venus, actually, kidney, skin, blood sugar, the throat also. It's also, anything to do with beauty, not necessarily skin, but the beauty of the skin. Yes, Saturn is the skin, though. And in the mundane world, it's diplomacy, and it's peace law or marriage law or fashion and industry, art and entertainment. Also, it could be fertility policies as well. And it also could be like in finances and profession, anything to do with the design and luxury market, architecture, interior designers, for example, it's Venetian ruled. And also, for example, Prada, Estée Lauder, L'Oreal, it's all Venus ruled, because it's fashion stocks also. Anything to do with luxurious events, jewelry, wedding industry, luxury ETFs as well. That's what Venus rules. And Jupiter rules education, and Jupiter rules also faith and wisdom and optimism. It is confidence as well, but very, very overly confidence and generosity. Jupiter is the fairy godfather, Santa Claus, we call him, luck and vision and teaching. But Jupiter could be really over optimistic and over indulgence as well, And in the body, it could be also high cholesterol as well because of eating a lot of bacon and fat. And as I said, it's fat metabolism as well. And Jupiter also law and order. So it is the attorney, it is the attorney general, it is, the lawyer, it is anything to do with international business or global businesses, for example, publishing and marketing. In the ninth house, it's also publishing and marketing as well, And it is actually when Jupiter, Venus conjunct or transit or in good relationship to each other's, when you are looking at the financial world, it is also a bullish market. And what kind of bullish market could right now coming up? Anything to do with beauty and anything to do with travel agencies. So something to do with aviation stocks, anything to do with beauty product, right? So it is airlines and hotels industry, new Airbnb, new Tesla housing is going to be available. So it is going to be the increase on the stock market of those. And Jupiter also, it's in exaltation in Cancer. It is not just only, house stocking or house market, right? And it's not necessarily a bubble. It could create a major bubble for a week or two, and then a big deflation, a big, issue with pricing itself. But after that, but it could be like the luxurious houses, obviously, even if there is a major issue. Just like we had it in 2008, and it will come really soon. The luxurious properties still going to keep their values. Maybe they're not going to sell, but it's only losing 15%, while other properties could lose 65% up. So yes, so it could be that. But that's what we have to actually check before we are actually trying to make any kind of prediction. And if you are trying to put together those, what does it rule in the second house, Venus, in the seventh house, or Jupiter, and Sirius itself, nobility, abundance, and also Sirius, also dog bites, guys. So it could be like a royalty or a famous person going to be, we're gonna read that in the news, they've been attacked by dogs or wolves, somebody who is famous and gonna be attacked by wolf or dogs, because in Native American it is the wolf itself. So yes, but what else could it bring for us? So let's brainstorm. So it could be something to a global push actually for maternal wellness funding. So a lot of people, for example, in America, we don't get maternity leave. It is like, especially if you are a self-employed like I am, I never had any kind of maternity leave. And but the people globally, they're going to actually try to push for maternity leave. So it could be because Jupiter is expanding and it's a new law which is actually nurturing the mothers. And it's not just against something against abortion, but right now they're gonna say, okay, if we are actually against abortion or we have some kind of law, then let's give some kind of support for those mothers, and not just, just some diapers when the baby born, but at least 3 years of income, or something to do with childcare support. And then it could be also surging heritage-based real estate market as well. Anything to do with claiming ancestral lands, or something to do with family-run businesses or family-run homesteads, right? And then if it is like the government going to support those businesses, or it could be something to do with historical estates, to renovate a historical estate or keep, like they are going to also get kind of government support as well. And also, it could be something to do with university programs as well, because obviously Jupiter in ninth house, it's universities. So it could be something to do with new curriculum in universities, something to do with programs like grief, or anything to do with womb studies and ancestral healing. They might going to use some kind of frequency therapy in the womb actually to prevent autism or any kind of neurological disease. Or, children also can have stroke in the womb of mother, obviously, and with frequency healing or some kind of ancestral. It doesn't even have to be frequency healing, guys. It could be some kind of trauma healing, ancestral healing. Stem cell therapy is going to be studied, right? And because of Venus is the jaw, it could be also like the stem cells, they going to grow teeth. And it was already a news 5 years ago because when I told Martin, oh, go ahead and wash your teeth. And he was like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna wash it. But by the time I'm gonna grow up, oh my God, that kid is so genius. They're gonna have stem cell therapy, and then they're gonna pull it out, and it's just gonna regrow just like the shark regrow its teeth all the time. And I was like, okay, I'm not dealing with this child because obviously he has an answer for everything. But something like that. So stem cell therapy, but ancestral trauma also going to be very important. So, for example, mother. So there is in the not only a midwife, for example, going to be in the delivery room, or if you want to have your baby in a birth tub, like I had that with Martin, and then mother and grandmother gonna be there, and there is like ancestor healing, everybody forgive to each other, so the baby could come actually through with some kind of amazing a new beginning opportunity, not carrying that kind of trauma through parents from mothers, right? And it could be also something to do with flood and also security and climate change as well, obviously, because of, we're talking about actually cancer, which is a river, flooding the rivers, for example. But it's also something to do with food supplies and homeland security as well, guys. And we are talking about famine as well, right? Because there is some country where is famine at this moment. But homeland security itself, because of cancer itself, it's the homeland, it's the safety of the homeland. And Venus and Sirius over there, the guardian dog is securing your land against some kind of attack, right? So it is possible, it's positive, but also new immigration laws, for example, which is going to favor families, which is like, okay, we're gonna actually deport, but at least the family stays together. So it's not going to be like mothers going to be taken or children away from mothers. But also, it could be a new law because Jupiter is law coming with, for example, anything to do with what is that flooding and climate change as well. And then because Sirius is involved over here, and it could be like some kind of uh, as I said, anything to do with your DNA memory, anything to do with the womb-based healing over there. So that's going to be very important, and it's going to be amplified and magnified during this time. And also, there could be some kind of cultural bloom with celebration of matriarchy and anything to do with motherhood as well, honoring the mothers, the elders in ancestral lines. And then also something to do with fertility boom as well, because this is the next 2 years you will see might going to have more children born, or it could be also some kind of people can get insurance for IVF and they don't have to actually pay a lot of money for IVF therapy, and then we're going to have a boom actually in pregnancies. Or we're going to have a lot of surrogacy, or we're gonna have some kind of new law with surrogacy as well. Mm. All right. So it could be also um, if, a law which is protecting, for example, abused mothers, or it could be something to do with single mothers, housing them, homing them, or affordable housing for domestic violent. Under domestic violence, the mother where they can go to the safe house, for example. Uh, and it could be some kind of market backlash as well, and that's a big correction. Why do I say that it's a big correction and not a bubble? Because of then it's going to make more affordable housing, and then people are capable to live a better life. And Jupiter, Venus, Sirius, actually, it's more inventory, right? More new homes, beautiful homes. As I said, Tesla houses, sure, very tiny houses, or even not even tiny houses, but very affordable. And it could be really rising right now. On the other hand, we have to talk about Cancer. Cancer was moonstone or anything to do with opalite or anything to do with pearl. For example, they might going to find pearls which worth more than $1 million, because it's very rare. Maybe it's bluish because Sirius is a white blue, so something to do white or blue. But you will read in the news like, oh, they found a pearl which is like maybe $2 million each pearl or whatever. So and it could be royalty. Sirius is the second sun. It's royalty, right? Right? Anything to do with uh, inspiring grandmothers to for cooking. Did you see that new movie, The Nonas? And it was very cute movie actually. And more restaurants gonna come up with name like grandmas, nodgies, nonas, like Gigi's, whatever, and they're going to use their own recipes and written recipes, not necessarily AI, but anything what was down to generation, given down to generation, and then they're going to go a family restaurant in the family houses. So it could be really great as well. And also they're going to pay more. For example, it could be an increase in salary, Venus's salary, for caregivers, for teachers, for example, because the ninth house for professors. Anyone who is, for example, single mothers can get more if they are not paid by the significant other, like an alimony or whatever. Then the government might going to give them something, and they're going to be more security for single mothers as well. But definitely elder care could actually improve, or anything to do with veteran care and housing veterans, for example, and single mother housing credits. Things like that could happen even in taxation, you know. And also, it could be like a new global funding coming up, not necessarily America, definitely not from America right now, but something to do with flood victims and climate migration as well. Um, and then on the global stock, anything to do with, for example, pharmaceutical diagnostic situation, like anything to do with big pharma. For example, stomach and breast and reproductive organs, anything to do with cancer ruling, for example. It could be a global stock rally over there. And, so, for example, maybe because of we're going to need more hormone therapy or more, IVF therapy, and it's going to support it right now with insurance, and also because of that kind of stock going to also rise somehow. But definitely the rates, the housing stocks could go up like at this moment. Yes. If you would like to during this time, I'm going to do an altar. I'm going to do an ancestral altar where I'm going to try to heal my all the ancestral trauma from my mother's side, not my father's mother's side because she was great, but my mother's side, because there is a lot of jealousy, and actual cancer could initiate jealousy somehow. So I'm going to definitely put my moonstones and my opalites and everything, and the pictures, and try to heal the wound over there. Yeah, so that's and on personal level, for each individual sign, because here is my little, what is that? Lila, and I'm gonna start with Aries. Uh, astrological wheel in front of me. And for Aries rising, sun and moon, actually it's going to happen in your fourth house. So you might going to find out who is your biological parents. You might going to move or renovate your house and or at least your kitchen because fourth house also kitchen, buy a new, like dishwasher or a refrigerator or something like that. But also it could be like you are talking about adoption and maybe you're going to become a foster parent as well. And the Cancer rules ruled by the moon. It could be, and the moon rules dogs as well. So you might want to adopt a dog. You might want to adopt a child, a human child as well. But your family can grow. You can get an instant family right now, Aries rising, sun and moon, and you're going to have more time with your family members as well. So this is really good for you. A big move, a big renovation. You hiring an architect or an interior designer. All right. Or you can profit actually to selling properties or to become a real estate agent as well. Taurus rising sun and moon is going to happen your third house. Third house, anything to do with your familiars. It is anything also to do, for example, with your neighbors. The third house is, younger siblings, niece, nephews, uncle, aunts, and it is also the farmers market. It's your neighbors. Third has anything to do also with your online school, anything to do with workshops and teaching online, and also studying as well. And your vehicle itself. So you might going to get a luxurious, beautiful vehicle. So you're going to change your transportation, for example. It could be like you're going to create a newsletter, right? You're going to actually become an early educational teacher, anything to do with media, for example. And if you have neighborhood issues, you're going to solve that situation. You might going to have a niece or nephew or uncle and aunt living with you, for example. It could, because of health-wise, the third has anything to do with carpal tunnel or anything to do with ADHD, ADD, Also, it could correlate sometimes with autism as well, obviously speaking and speech delay. It could be, or if you had asthma and bronchitis, it could get healed right now. It's a miraculous healing over here. If you had a frozen shoulder right now, you will be fine. And then also in finances, it is like you can monetize your social media presence during this time, or short-term trades, for example, and e-commerce as well. Anything to do with local businesses. Maybe you're going to sell your beauty product in local businesses, or you're going to start tutoring as well. So that is really good. Gemini rising sun and moon is going to happen in your second house. Second house, anything to do with actually with values, with morals. It is treasury, it's bank. It is a side gig, right? Which is going to turn out to be an income for you. It could be like, all right, I'm going to trade goods. I'm going to maybe sell houses, or I'm maybe going to actually be an art dealer, for example, or you can do your own supplement or art and sell it in an Etsy store or supplement on Amazon, right? It is anything to do with neck and thyroid and vocal cords. So you might going to have supplementation for thyroids, or something to do with eating disorders, and you're going to actually be a healthcare provider for eating disorders, anorexia and bulimia, for example. But definitely your earned income will be actually increased, and also you can sell a property as well, and your saving habits going to be different because of you are capable to have more money and save more as well. And then we're going to have actually Cancer rising sun and moon, and it's going to happen in your first house. First house, everything to do with your character and everything to do the way you represent yourself and your company as well. It is, anything to do, if you are in military, for example, it could, you can be a military leader over here, or anything to do with your persona, your physical appearance. It could be your aura, your charisma, right? your courage, your willpower as well, and your independence, right? So it is over here you shining. You are like, oh my God, I get a new sunglasses or a glasses, or I'm healing my migraine. I'm healing anything to do with rashes, and maybe you had a lot of acne and it's clearing up right now because first house is your face. And also, it could be like, and the brain as well. It could be like you are. More focused, and you want to study. You can have some kind of beauty surgeries during this time, and it would turn out great. If you have any kind of freelance gigs, if you have anything to do with taking a risk right now in life, to actually have more income stream, this is definitely the time for you guys. You can get married, an instant family, it could be really amazing for you guys. And Leo rising sun and moon is going to happen your 12th house. As we said, 12th house, anything to do with hospitals, mental health institution, anything to do with hidden enemies, hidden assets. It is, boutique hotel. You might going to open an Airbnb and boutique hotel. You can go to retreat, for example. And faraway countries, it could be a bucket list. You can go to Peru, you can go to the Chinese big wall, something to do with mysticism, something to do with, you might going to do a script writing, you might going to start to do photography, filmography, or you might going to start to write lyrics. It is your karmic debt as well, so, and hidden wealth. You might going to hear from, oh, there is a family member I didn't know about, and maybe it's a biological father. I thought it's someone else is my father. Person dies and leaves a huge fortune on you. But also it's something to do with secret funds and anonymous donations. Somebody is helping you to pay off, for example, the down payment of your house. And yes, then we're going to have Virgo rising sun and moon. It's going to happen in your 11th house. Jupiter is in planetary joy in the 11th house, Virgos. Jupiter is not in a good, Virgo. Jupiter doesn't like Virgo, but in the 11th house, it's in planetary joy. So anything to do with crowdfunding or anything to do with online monetizing and collective investment. You might going to actually go to invest in digital currencies, or you might going to actually create a non-profit, for example, a startup. A startup could be definitely, and it could be also marketing your new social media as well. And it could be also salary from your career, a promotion and a bonus paid out. It is good for going to event, meet VIP people for you guys. It is detachment for idealism, for example. You're going to meet a lot more friends who are really going to in a higher social circle, and they're going to take you there, and they're going to validate your dream. They want you to actually succeed, and it could be some kind of humanitarian work and political activist work as well for you, and you're going to strive in it. Then we're going to have Libra rising sun and moon, and it's going to take place actually in your 10th house, which is your career, your public image. That is someone who is a business tycoon over here, someone who could be a royalty, or you can meet a royalty. It could be like you're going to do a doctorate, a TED talk, a Nobel Prize. Some of you going to get Nobel Prize. Anything to do with law enforcement as well, or you're going to take a job at, in political parties, government, for example. So your career path, your public image, and your life mission is changing. You might going to change your name because you're going to get married, and you're going to get recognition. But the recognition can bring some kind of pressure because of the success. It is like your identity is changing. And if we are talking about health, that could be something to do with your knee, something to do with, like burnout, rigidity. Somehow you pull your knee, or you have a need to have a surgery over there. It could be swollen, and also joint issues definitely could come right now. And some of you going to have a retirement party and gonna be happily ever after that. And then we're going to have Scorpio rising sun and moon, and it's going to happen in your ninth house. Ninth house, anything to do actually with belief law and expansion as well, and exploration as well. So, court system. So if you have a court case, it's going to turn for your favor. Foreign policies, anything to do with higher education. You might going to publish a book, or your global trade is going to take amazing turn, and it's going to actually increase the value of your money. Immigration, you get a visa or a green card, or you become a citizen of another country. You can buy a luxurious real estate in a different country, or you can move actually right now to a foreign country as well. There will be some kind of new belief, which is going to new faith, which is going to support you. And it could be like coming with a new family, a new husband, new wife right now, and you are changing your religion, right? So you can start to teach, you can go and start to learn another language, you can actually teach abroad or have some kind of foreign exchange student in your house as well. It could bring in some kind of issues with fat metabolism and also some kind of travel illnesses as well. So be careful with sciatica as well. So yes, that could be that. And then Sagittarius rising sun and moon is going to happen for us in the eighth house, because I'm a Sag rising myself. Eighth house, Jupiter in the eighth house, not necessarily very good, because it could activate some kind of genetic illness or surgical issues as well. But it could bring in prenup, inheritance. It could bring in like some crime if you had some kind of identity theft. It is like right now coming to the surface. You can actually have an amazing opportunity either to win the lottery, or have an amazing mortgage, or you can win a house, or because of it's also trining North Node the day before, guys, and the North Node and the Moon in Pisces. So for you guys, it could be something around housing situation, but you can also getting back your sexual power right now. You can heal your sexual trauma, for example, if you had anything to do with ovary, your womb, or you might going to get pregnant, some of you, or it could actually, yeah, some of you can get pregnant. Or it is in some cases the genitals, and the rectum, for example, could affect that. So, for example, be careful with the dog bite. You also have to be careful, because in eighth house you might going to need a surgery because something, and it's not necessarily a dog, but it is the guardian, it's the wolf, it's the dog. You don't want to be attacked some kind of evil animal out in the wood. But in the other hand, it is like inheritance and good prenup, tax refund. It could bring in amazing tax refund for you as well, and an amazing mortgage, so you are capable to buy a house. All right, anything to do with stock market and crypto, it will bring you security. And then we have Capricorn rising sun and moon, and it's going to happen for you Capricorns in the seventh house, anything to do with mirroring, with partnership, anything to do with contracts and alliances and public lawsuit could turn for your favor. For example, you can have a lot of followers right now, right? If you have YouTube channel, it is anything to do with marriage laws, diplomacies. You might going to get engaged in marriage, and if it is hormonal, some kind of hormonal imbalance could actually get a miraculous healing over. Then maybe you go to hormone therapy. Also, if you had any kind of kidney or UTI issues, you're going to get well, and it's going to heal you. It's miraculous healing over there. But you can collaborate with others, and right now you can have a business partner, and obviously marriage and engagement for you guys. Aquarius rising sun and moon, it's going to happen in your sixth house. Sixth house, anything to do with health. It is like you're gonna have a new employee, you can buy a rental property, you can adopt a dog, and also you can open up a gym, a yoga studio. You have to be careful with food sensitivity over here, definitely. or overindulge or Venetian things, like maybe not just Venetian, but you eat a lot of bacon and a lot of sweets, so your cholesterol and your blood sugar can be really high right now. So careful with that kind of situation. So diet health and gut health is very important over here. But definitely you can get hired and it is your dream job and it's going to become a career, for example. But also you can invest in rental properties as well. If you have any kind of doctor appointment, I would get actually a second opinion as well for you. And Pisces rising sun and moon, let me see which sun of mine. Okay. Pisces rising sun and moon, it is going to happen actually for you in the fifth house. Fifth house, anything to do with creativity, with joy, with children, with risk taking. I have my sun in 4 degrees Pisces. So if you are watching that for your sun on moon, then also fifth house could be affected over here for you. So anything to do with entertainment or fashion or culture or sport, gambling as well, and stock market trends. So it could actually increase your stock. It could increase or like you can win the lottery, for example, or maybe you're going to become a grandmother, or maybe you're going to become a mother, for example. You're going to be really, really proud for your children because maybe your child going to make the sport league and it is like NFL or whatever, or in like I don't know, a soccer league in Europe or anywhere else. Obviously, and it could be also something to do with heart health and spine as well. And like you might going to have some kind of, if you had fertility issues, it's going to be um, you know um, under control. Maybe you're going to find a surrogate, or maybe you're going to have somebody paying for your IVF treatment and you're going to become pregnant. So it could be really good. Speculative investment trading or writing lyrics, or, creating art and monetize your creativity will be really amazing. You will be very charismatic. You might going to get a lover, a secret lover, Pisces. All right, guys. So this is an amazing, amazing conjunction, and I really wanted to tell about this because of I truly I couldn't wait for this. Really, after that many terrible aspects in heaven, and everything was difficult. 2025 went so quick, and it was just a blink of an eye. And because Sirius is involved, and you know me, I'm just obsessed with asteroids and I'm obsessed with fixed stars. I have no idea why. Maybe because asteroids is like, it is very, like something between Mars and Jupiter exploded and became like 2000 smaller object over there, which is all influencing differently from one huge planet or life somehow on Earth. And fixed stars also because they are not moving fast. And so I truly love this, and it is a second sun. It is truly a blessing for us. And make sure you see the rising. Okay, make sure you check that in your time. There is like this rising the stars. What time where you are located, and if you can see them rising, and even if it's daytime for you, then just be outside because it's still rising, right? Even if you don't see, and just make an altar and just make sure you are actually watching this, or being outside, and the ray of Sirius, Jupiter, and Venus is affecting you, because this is a blessing for all of us. All right, you guys. I love to be here with you. Thank you so much. I found some of the comments very funny. I'm just here to comment for the algorithm. Thank you so much. Please comment for the algorithm. Share my channel. As I told you, if I see that you shared it in multiple places, obviously I'm going to reward you. I'm coming back on August 4th with Ian, talking about addiction, and I'm going to also talk with Krasi about how to lose weight, and we're going to start to maybe do something with Krasi, like, because we both want to lose weight and together, and you can see our progress, hopefully. All right, so that's what's happening. And I'm going to do a lot of financial astrology, guys. I'm coming back with the two kite formation. And every month I'm going to do a financial on Lada's side as well. And also medical astrology. So we are all staying healthy, at least we try, right? Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here with me and watching me. Bye for now.